Hi. Thank you to my replay viewers. Thank you for joining. As you come in, if you'll click like and click share. I am Shonda Miles. I am a medical coding coach. It's one of the things that I do. I talk about coding and money. So I am been a coder, auditor, consultant 17 years, inpatient, outpatient coding. I have written 5 books on medical coding, 6 certifications in coding, master's degree in business. So that's just kind of who I am. I help coders who are looking to get certified, whether it's an AHEMA certification or APC certification. I help them get certified. So I offer classes, boot camps, consulting as it relates to medical coding certification. And of course, I also offer, if you want to make more money, I help you do that as well. So number 1, 7 steps to pass the CPC exam. Number 1, create a study plan. So I'm always amazed at the number of people who have not created a study plan. So if you're serious about taking the CPC, this is the year to get certified. You got to create a plan. You can't just say, I'm going to get certified, I'm going to study. I'm amazed that you have to have a plan. You have to sit down with a calendar and say, okay, on Mondays I'm going to study 5 to 8. On Tuesdays I'm going to study 10 to 3. On Wednesdays, and so forth. And then on those days that you're going to study, you have that time blocked out. Everybody in your family and your loved ones, your friends, they know you're studying during that time. You have it on your schedule what you're going to study. So Monday you might study respiratory, Tuesday you might study cardiovascular, Wednesday you might study respiratory, Thursday you might study musculoskeletal, and so forth. But you have a schedule of what you're going to do every single day. So if you have 30 days until you take your test, you have a 30-day plan. If it's 60 days till you take the test, you have a 60-day plan. If it's 90 days, you have a 90-day plan. But you study every single day, and you have it on your schedule, on a calendar every single day, what you're going to do during that time. If you don't do that, the time will fly by and you won't have anything done. Or at the end of the time, 30 days or whatever, you'll be looking around and said, oh, I was going to study. I didn't get a chance to study. The time just went by, or I was busy. So we can use that busy as an excuse if we don't sit down and create a study plan. So create a study plan, determine what you're going to study. And I always say, look at the things that you're weak in, and I would start studying those things first, and then I'll tell you what you should do with the rest of the time. So create a study plan. That's the first thing you should do. If you're scheduled to take a test and you don't have a study plan, do it today. Sit down and create a study plan today. Commit that time, whatever that is for you, 2, 3, 4 hours a week. 4 hours a day. Commit that time. I always suggest coders to spend at least 20 hours a week studying, and it's only a short time in your life. It's going to pass anyway, so commit to that time. And to me, it's better to commit to the 20 hours now, whereas instead of having to spend 8 months studying because you failed the test 4 times. That's crazy to me. Hi, Carla. Thank you for joining. If you click like and share this out with someone who this might be helpful to. Number 2, if you want to pass the CPC exam, the second step is read all the coding tips in your CPT manual. So if you have a 2018 CPT manual, if you kind of go through your CPT book, you'll see the little short paragraphs. They say CPT coding tip. Just read those. Go through your entire book, read those. They're really, really short. You can get a lot of them done in one setting. Read the paragraph, see what it says. That will help you become a better coder. Thank you. Oh, good. So that's what you need to do, is read all the coding tips in your CPT book. And so I get coders who, they ask me, okay, do I really have to do all these things that you're saying? Okay, so let's just talk about that for a second. So everybody knows that if you want to get a certification, particularly the CPC, you have to make a 70%. So the problem with that is, okay, that's fine if you make a 70% and you pass. But the problem is when you get a job, the national requirement is 95% accuracy rate to keep your job. So if you score 70% or 71% on the CPC exam, and then you go out and get a job, you cannot it'll be hard to keep the 95% accuracy. So you have to figure out, you have to get better as a coder, not just to pass the CPC exam, but to keep your job so you can be an effective coder. Hi, Miss Robbie. Thank you for joining. So you want to make sure you're reading those coding tips in your CPT manual. They're super short. You can get a lot done in a short period of time. It is one of the best ways to become a better coder faster. Number 3 is to read areas in your CPT book that you have the most trouble with. And so I know we stay away from things that we're afraid of or that give us trouble, but that's really where you need to spend the time. You can do Google searches on the thing that you have trouble with and try to get a better understanding. There's all kind of articles that AHIMA and AAPC have written about the different codes that we have the most trouble with, like cardiac cath or cabbages, or something like that. You want to make sure that you're reading those areas that you have trouble with. And what I always suggest my students to do is start from the beginning of that section and read all the notes that they give us, the guidelines, go through the codes and see if you can get a better understanding of the codes. That will help to improve your score, and that will improve the likelihood that you're going to pass. So don't just skip it. Like if it's musculoskeletal, don't just skip it and not study it at all because you hate that area. The area is still going to be on the test. So you just need to bite the bullet, sit down and study, start from the beginning, look at the anatomy of the whatever the area of the body is. If you need to, look at a video on YouTube. There's all kind of resources available that's free for you to look at on YouTube. If you have an anatomy book, maybe you read the anatomy section on that particular body system and then go through that section in your CPT book. You will get a better understanding. And so one of the biggest problems I see coders have is they read something one time and then expect to have an understanding. It never happens that way. More than likely, you have to read it more than once, maybe 10 times before you understand it. So the problem is our thoughts are going like, I need to go to the grocery store. I have to do all these things when I get through studying. And so we're not really focused. Sometimes we have the TV on, even if it's on mute. Sometimes our husband is talking to us in the background. The kids are running around. So and even if it's quiet, sometimes just your thoughts are running. So you have to read something more than once. So plan to do that. Spend more than one time reading that, whatever it is that you're studying, and I promise you will get a better understanding. And that's how you become a better coder. The next one is take 6 to 8 practice exams. So plan to sit down and take full-length practice exams. I don't really believe in taking a 50-minute or 50-question practice exam. To me, that doesn't give you a true indication of the time that you're going to spend when you take the CPC. So a full exam is 5 hours, 40 minutes. It's 150 questions. So plan to spend that time sitting down and studying, sitting down and taking the test, using that time. After the 5 hours, 40 minutes, okay, that's it. You don't have any more time on the test. You need to see what you score and then what you missed. Timing is important because most people run out of time. The timing is also important because you need to see the areas that you struggle with. What took you so long? What were you wrapped up in? Was it long cases? Was it cardiology? What was it that kept you where you were struggling kind of over and over again? So this is super, super important because if you don't figure out where you're spending or wasting the most time, you can't improve your speed. And if you don't take these time tests, you can't improve your speed because you don't know where you are. And most coders are amazed. They sit down, they did all these practice exams, none of them the full length, 5 hours, 40 minutes. And then when they get to the test, they're antsy. They want to get up and go to the bathroom. They want to get up and go get a snack. We don't have time for that. You need to make sure you do the time test so you're adequately prepared when it's time to take the test and you can sit still for that time. So that's what you need to do, take a time test. So I believe that if you're taking a time test, 83 to 86% is where you should try to be to know for sure that you're, to know for sure that you're going to pass the exam. And so if you're wondering where to get these practice tests that I'm talking about, AAPC sells 2. If you go through these tests with AAPC, you can get 2 full-length practice tests, A, B, C, and then D, E, and F. Those are 2 full-length practice exams. You can do that. You can take the same ones over and over again if you choose to. The only thing I suggest is that you make sure you read the rationale after every test that you take. Look at the questions that you missed. Look at why you missed them. Go back and work them backwards and see, okay, why did you miss this? So make sure you're doing that. If you choose to, you want to spend the money, you have the money you can spend. AAPC also makes a CPC certification guide. I used to be totally against the guide, but I've been teaching for 10 years coding, and I see that the guide is super helpful. It has a lot of anatomy in it, and that's what the test is. That's what ICD-10 is. So you have to know anatomy to really be an effective coder in ICD-10. So you can buy that book. It gives you probably 2.5 to 3 tests, full length tests. So that's worth the investment. The practice test for APC, like one full length, is $79.95 if you're a member, and I know you will be if you're going to take the CPC. And then the practice guide, I think, is probably $79.95 if you're a member, $119 if you're not a member. So that gives you kind of 3 full length practice. I'm sorry, that gives you probably 4.5 or 5 practice tests if you purchase all those. And one of my favorite things is the clinical coding workout. It's through the HEMA. It's at the HEMA store, and I'm not getting any cuts on any of this. I just recommend what I use with my students, what I know works, and what's really, really good for a coder. Especially one that wants to get better and better. But anyway, clinical coding workout. It is a HEMA product. It has something like 1,500 coding scenarios. It gives you short, long, and kind of medium length scenarios, and that's what every coder needs. You need to kind of see the variety because that's what you'll have on your test more than likely. So I like those. It gives you all different types of coding, including some inpatient. So it's a great place to get a lot of practice, especially if you didn't get a lot of practice when you were in school, or it's been a long time since you've been out of school. The HEMA clinical workout book, make sure you get the current edition with the answers, so you can you'll be able to be able to check it afterwards. So that's kind of my favorite on that. The next one, number 5, is the Read ICD-10 guidelines. Approximately 42 pages, depending on what type of ICD-10 book you have, whether it's Carroll Book or Optimum. You can read it in a very short amount of time, and I'm surprised the number of coders who don't know their guidelines. So, you can read it in a few hours, 42 pages. It's well worth spending the time to read it. It could be, almost whether you pass or not, because some of the questions can easily be eliminated by the ICD-10 code. So make sure you know your guidelines. That's what you'll be tested on, is CPT guidelines and ICD-10 guidelines. So make sure you read those. Make sure you're comfortable with your ICD-10 guidelines. You don't have time during the test to go back and look at something and clarify, to reread it. You don't have time to reread the guidelines. You are going to run out of time if you have to do that. So make sure you do that ahead of time. You can do it in a short period of time. It's worth the time investment. Number 6 is read one chapter out of an anatomy book, like either once a day, once a week, or or look at a video on anatomy on YouTube. This will help you get a better understanding of coding, things that you might not understand, conditions that you might see, and you're thinking, okay, what is this? So anatomy is super, super important. It's good to, I find some coders, they get bored with reading anatomy. That makes them sleepy. So if it does, you can look at a video on YouTube. There's tons of videos on anatomy and physiology on every body system. Is so worth the time. And especially if you're if you don't have the time really to sit down and read, you can listen to it in your car. You don't have to look at it, the video per se, but if you can listen to it in your car, super, super effective. It will help increase your score. So that's number 6. Number 7 is focus when you're studying. So, like I said, we can be so distracted or get so distracted when we're studying. So make sure that you're spending the time, you're focused, that you have eliminated all the distractions, whether it's kids, husbands, pets, the TV, whatever it is, friends, the phone, email, social media. Eliminate all of that when you start studying so you can really focus. Because like I mentioned already, you might have to read it more than once, but when you have all those distractions, you could read it 10 times and you still won't know what it said. So make sure you eliminate the distraction and really focus on what you're studying. You will get so much more out of it. And the last one is believe in yourself. So I get students all the time who already feel defeated before they even take the exam. And so I'm totally against that. I always believe you believe in yourself, you are going to pass the test. Believe in yourself. Of course, you have to put the work forward. You have to spend the time in studying. But if you believe in yourself, believe that you are going to pass the test. Say that you are a CPC certified coder or whatever the certification you're going for. Say it and believe it. every single day. You know, you ought to have it up on your mirror in your bathroom. I am a CPC certified coder. I am CPC certified. You know, something like that. You have your name on the mirror with comma CPC behind it. You have to believe. You have to get it in your mind that you're going to pass. If you're saying, I'm so afraid I'm going to fail, you're going to fail because you've already programmed in your mind, I'm going to sabotage this no matter what. I'm going to fail this exam. So make sure you set yourself up to win. You set yourself to believe in yourself. And you know, when I get the other end of the spectrum true, I get people who are like too cocky, you know, and saying that, you know, all these things, and they fail it because it has to be a balance there. You know, you have to have, there is a healthy nervousness that is important. You know, you get what I'm saying. But you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you're going to pass it. If you automatically are negative, you automatically think you're going to fail, you're going to fail. So you have to believe in yourself. What I believe is, if I'm going to invest my money and my time in this exam, I want to make sure that I'm prepared, but that I believe in myself. I believe that I'm going to be certified, and I will. So I hope these tips help you. This is 7 steps to pass a CPC exam. Number 1 was create a study plan. Study plan is super important. We won't, thank you, Ms. Robbie. If we don't have a study plan, we will not sit down and prepare. Everything will always be more important. So you need a study plan. You need a commitment to yourself, the time, what you're going to actually study every single day in order for you to do it. So create a study plan. Number 2 is read all the coding tips in your CPT book. If you're not big on heavy reading, these little coding tips through your CPT book are just like little short paragraphs, 2 or 3 sentences that you can read a bunch of them at one time and really get through your book. Thank you. So read areas in your CPT book that give you trouble. So don't run away from areas that you don't like pathology or medicine. Don't run away from those sections, because you're still going to have to code them. Thank you. Thank you for the hearts. You're still going to have to code them. You're still going to have to work through them on your CPC exam. So please make sure that you go through areas that you have trouble with. Spend time with those areas. Google articles on those areas, APC or HEMA. You know, if you read those articles or look at it on YouTube, or, you know, go through your book and just read it yourself. Just take your time and read it over and over again until you get an understanding. You can use your textbook to, you know, help you better understand it. I promise you will get better in that area, and that will help to improve your score. The next one is number 4, take 6 to 8 practice exams. I believe in the practice exams. If you were going to run out of time, if you were going to take the exam, like say Saturday, that's what I would spend my time doing, is taking the practice exams, reading the rationale, see why you're missing it, look at what guidelines are they telling you that you've missed. This is super important. The practice exams are so important. You need the practice. You got to have it, and you have to read the rationale. If you don't read the rationale, you make the same mistakes over and over again. So don't neglect that step. It's important. Number 5 is read the ICD-10 guidelines at least 3 times. They're super short. Spend the time, invest in that. When you take an employment exam to become a coder, that's one of the things they'll test you on is guidelines. So make sure you know your ICD-10 guidelines, of course, as well as your CPT guidelines. Number 6 is read 1 chapter of anatomy a day if you can, or look at a video or listen to the video. This will, you know, make you a better coder. This will help you on the CPC exam, but this will also make you a better coder. So spend the time invested in this. You can just Google anatomy and physiology and whatever the system that you're studying, and videos will come up. So make sure you do that. Number 7 is focus when you're studying. Eliminate your distractions. Ask your family to please support you in this effort and give you this quality time to study, and that they'll keep the kids out, the animals, the husbands, the TV, cell phones, social media. Just please focus on this. You know, you don't want to study and have distractions and then have to keep taking this test over and over again. I meet people all the time who've taken the test 8 or 9 times. And to me, there's a problem. There's something you got to take. You got to come all the way back and say, okay, I'm doing something right. Something has to change. So you got to make changes. So I know for a fact that distractions is a big thing for a lot of coders trying to study for this test. So eliminate the distractions. Number 8, believe in yourself. Please, please, please believe in yourself. If God puts you on this journey, He will make sure that you pass this exam and help you be a better coder. But you got to put the work forward, and you got to believe in yourself. So believe in yourself. The Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So if you believe you're a coder, a certified coder, you will be one. Thank you for joining me. Please like and share this video and help somebody else pass the certification. Thank you.